Welcome again. So, in this class, we would be going to study about the money and the credit. So, this chapter, what would be our learning objective? We will be knowing about the barter system to understand about the money and the various transactions of the money, to know about the role of the RBI. Understand about the money and the Then comes is the role of the RBI, the barter system, money, and the various transactions of the money. To understand about the various types of the credit and the beneficiary. So this is a long chapter of the six-page chapter, and but it is an important chapter for your exam GS 3 and your prelims exam. So there it would be useful for you. So it will take me 30 minutes to complete this chapter. Now let's start with the introduction first. The chapter it deals with the evolution of the money over the years and its functions. It also elucidates on the role of the Reserve Bank of India. It throws the light on the foreign exchange, the monetary aggregates, and the forms of the credit. It further explains how the technological advancement have made banking easy and the swift in today's world. Almost all the things used by the men have a monetary value. In addition to that, the pay given by the labor, wages, and the services are all fixed on the basis of the money. The taxes and the duties are paid in form of money. We would have seen our parents planning the expenses at our home every month. तो हमारे पेरेंट्स हर महीने का जो बजट बनाते हैं, दे मेक द बजट, द मनी इनकम, pending expenditure, saving, payment of the interest, etc. are the all measured in the terms of money. हर एक चीज हमारी पेंडिंग पेमेंट क्या है, सैलरी, व्हाट इज दिस सैलरी, all these are measured in terms of the money. Now, not only at the home, but at also the budgets of a country or the states are also framed on the basis of the money. The government as well as the private institutions and the industries, they calculate their financial status through the money. Thus, the money plays a predominant and inseparable role in all our lives. Now, first comes is the barter system. Now, if there arises a question, has man always used money? The answer would be no. How? When did money enter into the lives of the men? In this lesson, let us learn about the evolution of the money over the years. Now, ancient men hunted and they gathered the food. He lived in the caves and the forest. In the later stage, he invented the weapon for the hunting and the gathering the food. Later, he invented the fire and learned to practice the agriculture. He used mud to build the houses and settle down in a place and also make the earthenware. So, this you have learnt earlier also in the history. When the agriculture yield was high, they made handicrafts. When there was surplus in the agriculture produced and other articles like the earthenware, they exchanged it with the people who needed them. For example, if a commodity had excess food stuff, they would exchange that with those who had the excess pots. Likewise, when a particular grain grew in an abundance in a region, it can be exchanged. It was exchanged with the different crop in the other region. Now, these articles which were exchanged through the barter form or the barter system can be termed as a form of the trade. Now, next comes is the coins. The barter system flourished wherever the civilization thrived. The system was active not only within a civilization but also among the civilization. This was initial form of the international trade. During the archaeological excavations of the Egypt and the Iraq, Mesopotamia, articles used during the Indus Valley civilization, they were excavated. Now, as years went by, there were the there were issues found in the barter system. For example, there were the problems in exchanging needed goods. A person who had paddy was in need of the earthenware, for instance. So yesterday also in the chapter of the money we have seen this. So eighth class yesterday we have seen these things only. Now, the person who had the pots and the utensil was not in the need of the petty. So, thus, the need of the many people were not fulfilled. So, here the need comes, and the need were not fulfilled. Measuring the quantity and the value of the good exchange were found difficult. To solve these issues, they fixed a common item with a standard value for the effective exchange of the goods. Now it was used, so first comes your barter, then comes your common good, then next comes your metal money, then comes your paper money, then comes your plastic money, and now comes your electronic money. Now, metals were rare to find and they could be maintained for a long time and never lost their value. Hence, the metal can be termed as the first form of the money, or the metal can be termed. So, remember here, word can is used. Now, during his rule, Sher Shah Suri set up a new civic and the military administration and issued a coin of the silver weighing 178 gram, which were termed as the rupiah. The silver coin remained in the use during the Mughal period, the Maratha era, and the British India as well. Now, these may be the reason why the metals were chosen. Gold, silver, copper were the first metal used. They were called ancient currency. Leather, beads, shell, tobacco, salt, corn, and even the slaves were exchanged as the barter, says the economist. Now, the later Cholas allowed the traders to have their own army. Now, historical evidences state that during this period, the small trader and the producer gave credit to the Tamil traders to support their export needs. Now, next comes is the natural money. The metals such as the silver and the gold gained importance gradually all over the world. So, the metal were used as standard value in the exchange of the goods, and this is called as the natural money. So, metal is called as your the natural money. Remember that. Then next comes your paper money. Now, as days went by, issues arose because while trade prospered, there were the insufficient reserve of the gold and the silver. Mines also had a limited reserve of these metals. An alternative was found, and the coins were made using the metals of the lesser value. Now, these were used to buy and sell the lesser value goods of the lesser value. It was used as the money of the poor people. तो इनको कहते थे कि जो common people है या poor people है उस वो इस पैसे को use करता था. Hence, these coins were printed in the large number. Paper money came into the being in the next stage. This money was without form, and the people started saving in the banks. The Great Economic Depression was also prompted the saving habit of the people. So जैसे ग्रेट इकोनॉमिक डिप्रेशन आता है लोग सेव करना जो है स्टार्ट कर देते हैं Now, money has become an inseparable part of everyone's life today. It has changed its form in the economic front. Money's transaction are done through many ways in the electronic world. Now, history of the money, a beautiful chart they have shown you. You can take the print and paste on your study table or the before in your room. Now, history of the money barter system during the this period, the exchange of the goods were done through the barter system. Main exchanged the surplus good for the other goods and that needed. Example: grain, cattle, salt were the goods or that were exchanged. Then second comes is your coin. Now, the Chinese have used the small coins during this period. Now, these coins were made up of the bronze. Now, the countries bordering the Indian Ocean use the shells as the medium of the exchange. Then next comes is your currency. Now, 600 BC or the BCE, King Alaites of the Lydia, he announced publicly that official currency will be used for the trade. Now, this transaction of the money spread throughout the Mediterranean region. The next comes is the Marco Polo in the 1290 AD paper money. Sorry, before this Marco Polo, there is the gold coins. Now, the florin, a gold-plated coin, was introduced first in the Europe. Then comes as the Marco Polo. The paper money spread to the Europe through the travels of the Marco Polo. Now, this person is very important in your history also, Marco Polo. Now, next comes is your printing of the currency when the new paper money was printed in the Sweden, it was not much welcome. Then comes is the electronic transfer. Now, through the telegram, an effort was undertaken to transfer the money electronically in the 1816. Then comes your credit card. Now, 1946 AD, John Begins invented the credit card, so it is the newest one. Then comes as your mobile banking 1999. European banks introduced the mobile banking. Then comes next is the NFC near field communication was introduced in the Britain. Now in India it came in the 2016. Now it takes only about 7 to 8 seconds to transfer the money through the NFC. So it can be transferred through the SIM card, NFC SIM. Now, next comes is your the electronic transactions. Now, one has to visit the bank and fill in a challan or to produce a check to withdraw money from his account. Now this practice of the gradually vanishing. Now, instead of the one can easily withdraw the money amount from an automated teller machine. Now, remember, some people they also do not know the full form of this ATM. So remember that also automated teller machine is your ATM. With the help of the ATM debit card, one can easily withdraw the money needed at any time at the ATM located everywhere. A person can deposit money in their account without visiting the branch. Now, can you comment and tell me how many types of the ATM are there and what are the difference between each type of the ATM? Now, similarly, the credit cards are also available through which things are bought on the credit card and amount can be paid later. So you can buy the things and you can pay later also. That is called as your credit card or you can a loan type of. Nowadays, instead of the using the check or the demand draft, and that is your DD. Online transaction through the net banking are carried out. Now, through this, money is transacted to anyone who lives anywhere across the globe. Now, technology has advanced so much that even the mobile banking is widely used nowadays or the nowadays. Now, role of the Reserve Bank of India. What are the roles of Reserve Bank of India? A government has the responsibility to regulate the money supply and oversee the monetary policy. Hoarding of the money must be avoided at all cost in the country's economy. So one class or the one people does not have all the money and the others do not have nothing. So that has to be regulated. Only then the money can be saved in the banks. A major portion of the saving in the banks are used for the development of the industries, economic growth, and the various development schemes for the welfare of the people poor. Now, all major and the important banks were nationalized in the 1969 in the India. The Reserve Bank of India regulates the circulation of the currency in the India. The Reserve Bank of India started the operation on the 1st April 1935. It was permanently moved to the Mumbai from the year 1937. RBI was nationalized in 1949. The 85% of the printed currency is let for the circulation. According to the statistics available as on the August 2018, currency worth of the 19 lakh crore are in the circulation. That is the Reserve Bank of India according to that. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's PhD thesis on the problem of the rupee, the origin and the solution, was the reference tool and provided the guidelines for the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was not only a great lawyer, but also a great constitutionalist, but also an economist also. Now, relationship between the money and the price. Good, Bandita. White label, brown label, and the white label, brown label. And one more, tell me about that also. There is a close relationship between the volume of the circulation, money, and the price of the things. 90% of the products are manufactured within the main aim of the sales or the meant for the services. Now, growing crops and the production are done on the commercial basis rather than on the subsistence level. Now, this phenomena also increase the importance of the market and the money. Now, the relationship between the money and the price is connected with the monetary policy. Now, there is the close relationship between the growth of the money supply and the inflation. Now, price control, it plays a very important role in the country's economic stability. Now, this is a role played by the central bank of our country, RBI, in the India. Now, currency is the medium of the exchange in a country. The Indian currency is called as the Indian rupee. In a country, the foreign currency is called as the foreign exchange. Now, purchasing capacity of all currencies in the world are compared using the US dollar as the standard currency. This value differs from the country to country. Most of the intellectual trade transactions, international trade transactions are carried out in the US dollar. Now, what are the functions of the money? Now, when money replaced the barter system, a lot of the practical issues were solved. Now, money acts as a medium of the exchange. We have studied this definition later also in the last class. Medium of the exchange, a unit of the measurement, and a store of the value, and a standard of the deferred payment. These are the four definitions which you have to learn for your exam. It plays an important role in the transaction. Now, for your reference, they have provided you the country and the currency. India's currency is rupee, then England is pound, and the European Union is euro. Then Canada is dollar, then Japan is yen, then comes is your China is yuan, Saudi Arabia rial, Australia dollar, Australian dollar, Malaysia ringgit, then Pakistan rupee, and the Sri Lanka is Sri Lankan rupee. A medium of the exchange, money should be accepted liberally in the exchange of the goods and the services in a country. Now, unit of the account money should be common standard unit of the calculating a country's total consumer goods, products, services, etc. For example, if a cost rupees 50, a book cost rupees 50, it means that the price of the book is equal to 50 units of money. Money is used as a measure and record the financial transaction in the country. It is used as a store of the value. Money is used as a store of the purchasing power. It can be used to finance the further payments. Next comes is your the credit. Farmers avail credit during the monsoon for buying the seeds, then agriculture input and other expenses. Now, traders and the small entrepreneurs need credit for their needs. Even large industries receive the credit to take the new projects. Now, credit is available. You can get the credit from the formal financial institutions like the nationalized and the private banks and the cooperative banks. Then, informal financial institutions. Then, micro credit is received through the self help groups. As far as the nationalized banks and the cooperative banks are concerned, the interest to the credit is comparatively lesser, and there is the guarantee for the pledged goods. Next comes is your informal financial institution. Informal financial institutions are easily approachable to the customer with the flexible procedures. But there are issues like the safety of the item, pledged high rates of the interest, and the modes of the recovery. People who live in a particular place or those who are involved in a certain work join together as a group and start saving. Now, these are called as the self-help groups. The nationalized banks provide help to these groups through the microcredit. Now, credit given through the self-help groups from the street vendors, fishermen, especially women and the poor, really make a difference in their life. Now, in Tamil Nadu, all the banks have the 10,612 branches across the state. They carry on a total transaction of around 15 lakh crore rupees during the financial year 2017 and the 18. Now, how currency is printed in India? A 1 rupee and the 2 rupee notes were first printed in the India in the year 1917. The Reserve Bank of India is empowered to issue the government of the India notes since 1935 that we have done earlier in the detail. The RBI Act of the 1935 that allows it. Now 500 rupee note currency was introduced later. Now, in the 1941 rupee note was issued again, and until 1947, the currency notes with the image of the King George VI was in the circulation. After the independence, the government of India issued the currency notes. Now, in 1925, the government established a government press at the Nasik in Maharashtra. Currencies were printed there years later. Were printed 3 years later. In 1974, a press was started in the Devas, Madhya Pradesh. The Securities Printing and the Minting Corporation of India Limited. Then two more in 1992 more presses were started in the Mysuru, Karnataka and the Salboni in the West Bengal to print the notes. The Reserve Bank of India has the authority to decide the value of the currency to be printed and how the amount should reach its destination safely. Though the RBI has the power to print up to the 10,000 rupees notes, at present a maximum of the up to rupees 2,000 is printed. सो 10,000 तक के नोट्स प्रिंट कर सकती है बट अभी तक जो है इन्होंने प्रिंट किए हैं अप टू द योर 2,000 रुपीज का हाईएस्ट है नाउ एग्रीकल्चर इन तमिलनाडु वी आर नॉट कंसर्न्ड विद दैट वी आर लिविंग दिस चैप्टर इसको हम नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं एंड वी विल बी डायरेक्टली गोइंग टू द next chapter and the last chapter which is small chapter and do connect with that it will take me 15 minutes to complete this chapter migration